Talk Tonight by Oasis, it uses fairly simple chords, but what really brings it out is if you add in the 7s and 9s. So for instance, it starts off with an E minor 7 chord. You can play any variation of E, G, B, D, but this note D is the 7th note in the E minor chord, and if you're playing that, fitting it in with the left and right hand, it brings a lot more in the overall piece. Thing to keep in mind about this piece as well, similar to the Bob Dylan piece, you want to be strumming the keys like this rather than playing block chords, just to give the feel of an acoustic guitar. It works really well with these type of pieces. I'd recommend looking at the rendition that I did of this track. I'd leave a link down in the description for you, but it might help you, just especially with the left hand, getting the hang of the rhythm and everything like that. Starting off with the verse chords, they're the exact same as the chords for the introduction. So the verse chords are E minor 7, A7, C9. C9 is just a C major, but just adding in another D note, the 9th note in the C major chord, so that goes past the octave. And again, you can make any rendition of those notes, so if it's too hard to kind of stretch all the way, you can just play it like that. Either start off with the E, then G, and then D. G, A7 again, and then again to C9. Piece is counted in 4s, so with those chords you're looking at 2 bars for the first two, so E minor 7 and A7 are held for 2 bars, and then the rest of the chords of that chord progression are only 1 bar. So the rhythm would go like this. Play the right hand notes with that, just so you know what's happening in relation to the left hand. That repeats twice. Because these are just block chords that I'm showing you, it'd be much more interesting if you were able to get it up to playing arpeggios. Rather than just block chords, especially because it's an acoustic guitar kind of piece. You can look at a video I did on how to play the left hand like that down in the description, but just if you could get yourself up to the stage where you can play the left hand as arpeggios like that smoothly, your own technique even, that would help you out when learning the whole piece. On to the chorus chords. The chorus is G, D major, E minor, and C9 again. And as far as I know, it's just 1 bar for each, really, repeated. So I'll show you the melody notes on the right hand while playing the left hand chords. The whole way through. The only one thing I'm missing out on there is the distinctive guitar riff you hear after every line of I Want to Talk Tonight. So as soon as you finish the vocal notes on your right hand, you flick to this. And then back. Let's do that again one more time slowly. That kind of motion there, you want to be using your thumb on the D note so you can cross over easily and then go back. So I usually use my middle finger on F sharp, then thumb on the D, then little finger on E. I should mention as well, with the verse and the chorus, the melody notes in the right hand, you saw I was doing single notes there. You can definitely fit in some notes to harmonise with the chords you're playing in the left hand. So for instance, the very start of the verse, you can add in G. And then you can add in, when you're playing A7, you can add in C sharp and A. You can just observe what you're playing with the left hand, and any of those notes you're playing with the left hand you can definitely add in, as long as you're still hearing the distinctive melody cutting through on the right hand. During the first chorus then you're only hearing that same vocal line being sung 3 times, I want to talk tonight, and then after that it does this see how we are bit, this little outro bit. All that is the chords A7 and C9 again, and then the right hand. And really all I'm doing with the left hand in the actual rendition is tapping the chords like that, just as a smooth transition into the instrumental part before the second verse. The instrumental part then, exactly the same chords as the verse. The only thing is this guitar riff. Literally it's just G and A the whole way through. So to change it up, I sometimes do A with the octave. And then if you want to start tapping and then gradually move into arpeggios, it's up to you what way you want to do that. After that instrumental then it goes straight into the second verse. To make it a bit more dramatic, I'd often just slam down a bass note. So for the first chord, E minor 7, up to you really. Just sometimes I like to set apart the second verse if it's more or less the same as the first verse in some way, to show that the piece is progressing. And I didn't mention then for the chorus I always use octaves, and again you can throw in some notes to harmonise with the chords you're playing. So for instance, I'm adding in G up here as it's on C9, and then D as it's on G. The second chorus repeats the line, I want to talk tonight, a lot more than the first, as you know probably from listening to the song. So really it's up to you if you want to change it around, or sometimes I didn't do this for the rendition that I linked in the description, but sometimes I like to soften it up. Then gradually build it up if you want to do it that way, or else you can just play it the same straight way. It's up to you. In the actual song then there is backing vocals, which I didn't include in my rendition, but if you were going to include them, it would sound something like this. And then that's just repeating the same melody notes, but it changes up slightly. So instead it's this. Flicks between those two the whole time. Just remember the outro is the very last thing you play. It's just A7 and C9. Finish on an E minor 7. So this A7 and C9 progression you played before as you ended the first chorus. It's just not including it's not including that bit. It's just the bare chords. Pretty much it then with the whole piece. If you have any more questions about it, or if you want to throw in a comment that you have about how it might sound better, definitely give it a mention down in the comments. And of course, if you have any requests to do any other tutorials, I'll be happy enough to cover anything you want. And lastly, if there's anything else you'd like me to cover, be sure to let me know. Even leave a suggestion on anything you might know about playing by ear yourself.